All right, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the idea that no good deed goes unpunished. A polarity-based idea that you can't have the good without the bad. So, let's get into it. All right, so is there really any truth to no good deed goes unpunished? Is there really some bad that comes along with the good? Well, surprisingly often, yes. And we touched a little bit upon it when we discussed like inventions, how things that are created for good also come along with something bad. And because of the law of polarity, you can't have one without the other. So, for example, you create the automobile. It's going to help you get from point A to point B much quicker than an old horse and buggy. But at those speeds, that great invention can also kill you if you get run over by them or crash in them. Nuclear power is a very clean and efficient energy source, but it also produces nuclear waste and an ecological nightmare if the reactor were to ever melt down. So when you understand this aspect of polarity, that you can't have the good without the bad, that it's a complete and total package together, is it any surprise that bad things often happen when you try to do good? My girlfriend's been learning a lot of this recently, as she's been doing a lot of good things for a lot of people, and they pretty much have all backfired and become a hellish ordeal. And all I can say is no good deed goes unpunished. It's part and parcel to the saying the road to hell is paved with good intentions. People often mean well, but then they make things worse by trying to help. Think of politicians in this way. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they're not deliberately trying to make a mess of things, that they really do want to help the country, but look how often they just make things worse by trying to help. Some of you may remember all the way back in the early days of this channel, I did a video on the exaltation of Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, and within that video I highlighted the homeless lottery winner viral video, where a YouTuber gives a homeless man a losing lottery ticket, but he and the clerk have set it up to where they make the guy think that he won, and they give him $1,000, I believe it was, and the man is so overcome with emotion, he starts crying and wants to give a portion of it to the guy who helped him, the YouTuber who gave him the ticket. And it was such an uplifting and inspiring video. I had to remove the clips from my video because it did get copyright claimed, but I still talked about it while showing pictures. So next, this YouTuber went to do a GoFundMe or similar fundraising campaign to get this homeless guy a home. And they did. They got him a place and they paid like the first year's rent up front so that he would have a place to stay. And the overflow of the money that was raised in the fundraiser was to be doled out over time and help him get his life back on track, from what I understand. They helped him get a job, and it looked like this homeless guy, Eric, was going to live happily ever after, and that these good deeds would go unpunished, right? Well, how do you think it ended up? How do you think the Good Samaritan YouTuber would get punished for this one? One of our listeners here had brought to my attention that all did not go well with this story. And I want to thank him for sharing it with me because it really does illustrate the point in this video. Well, the first thing is the homeless guy, Eric, missed his first day of work because he just didn't feel like going. Then he was harassing the YouTuber for the fundraiser money practically daily and would get very nasty with him when he wouldn't get it, to where the Good Samaritan YouTuber would just give in and give him the money, and then he would quiet back down. Money he was supposed to be spending on helping get his life back together, but instead was blowing it on limo rides and partying with his friends. Allegedly, as the story goes. He didn't want to live in the house with the prepaid rent anymore, and then he moved back into the old hotel he was staying at, thinking he can get the rent money back, but, that's not how things work. And then after he wasted all of the money and broke all of the trust to where he couldn't get any more money, he then backstabbed the one guy who was trying to help him this entire time and claimed that he never received any of the fundraiser money, trying to ruin the YouTuber Good Samaritan, who had raised tens of thousands of dollars for him. I think it was like $66,000 all told. But the YouTuber had receipts who could easily prove that he did in fact give Eric, the homeless guy, the money, but not before taking a hit to his reputation and going into a deep depression over this entire ordeal, which was drawn out over a significant amount of time. This wasn't just a mere matter of days. In the end, the homeless guy told the YouTuber to F off, which was the cherry on top for the good deed that he had done for him. And I'll leave a link to the video of this whole ordeal up here. But he's a much nicer guy than I am. I would have cut him off when he didn't show up for his first day of work. I would have made the extra fundraiser money contingent upon that. If you're not working, you don't get any extra money. So in the end, he just lounged around, badgered this guy for money all the time, got nasty and threatened violence when he wouldn't get it, wasted the money when he did get it, shrugged off the home that they had gotten for him, and went right back to being a homeless bum. You can't change a tiger's stripes. There's a reason this guy was homeless in the first place. And I know people try to argue this point with me. I know that in the Frater is Wrong mailbag video, somebody was arguing this point with me. Well, Frater, you don't know all their circumstances. There's a lot of mentally ill living on the streets. They're not just all lazy and unwilling to work. Sure, but there's still a reason that they're out there. And I agree there's way more mentally ill out there than should be. It's not that any of these people are evil. It's that something's wrong with their programming. They aren't programmed correctly to function normally within society. Sure, you can give them a handout and it can get them by for another day, but it's not going to change their circumstances. And you can't really help somebody unless they want to help themselves. And this saga of the homeless lottery winner shows that. This guy squandered all of the money and then bit the hand that fed him. Because that's who he is. That's what he's programmed to do. So, Frater, are you saying that we shouldn't do any good deeds or help anybody out at a time when the world so desperately needs it? No. No, I'm not. I just want you to be aware of no good deed goes unpunished. I want you to understand polarity. Go out and do good in this world. Just be prepared to cut your losses if you have to. This kind-hearted YouTuber in this story example didn't do that. He kept going. He kept enabling this guy when it was obvious to anyone with any common sense that he was being taken advantage of and was being played. He kept letting the guy get away with it. So you either learn to cut your losses when you need to, or you man up and you take it. You know, my girlfriend and I take care of a fairly large colony of feral cats who tear up our patio furniture, tear up our flower beds, and crap up our yard. But despite this, we still take care of these cats. It's a good deed that we're willing to be punished for. And that's really the entire question here. Are you willing to take the bad that goes along with the good? And if so, then you have no complaints. But if not, then you may want to rethink your actions. It's a part of polarity that you need to understand because there's polarity in everything. And you cannot have one without the other. The Laws of Magic is a subscription course detailing the universal laws that everyone must follow in order to have a successful magical practice. If you've ever had difficulty getting magic to work for you, it's probably because you've broken one or more of the laws of magic. Now, some of the laws of magic are pretty benign and it will just keep magic from manifesting for you, but others can be downright dangerous if you don't adhere to them. In fact, this entire course was born out of my having broke one of the laws of magic, where my magic failed and I paid dearly for it. I had to go back and examine all of the laws of magic just to find out where I went wrong. Afterward, I saw an opportunity for others to learn from it in order to help prevent them from making the same mistake. The Laws of Magic runs an entire year, delivered straight to your inbox, consisting of 50 lessons, plus an introduction and an epilogue. If you want to have a successful magical practice, there's no better way to learn the do's and don'ts of magic than the Laws of Magic. You can get the Laws of Magic and other Mind and Magic programs over at mindandmagic.com today. All right, so I want to thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something. Leave a like and share it if you did. It's probably a good deed that will go unpunished. Follow me on social media. The URLs will be on screen momentarily. And I will see you next time. Take care.